Welcome to another tutorial on the subject of domestic life, and that's why we have got some really nice kitchen objects. We are going to look at still life. There's two parts to this section, so there's another video which concentrates on using shapes and proportions. On this one we're going to concentrate still life using negative space and proportions, and it's a fantastic way of seeing the whole of what you draw, which actually might make sense as I get further in. It's a great way to practice still life, and hopefully if you've got space you can leave something set up and have a few attempts. Would highly recommend having a few attempts at still lives. I wouldn't just try doing one very quickly. It's something that you could work on over and over again. Make it as easy or as difficult as you like, so you don't overwhelm yourself. But I would, put a little bit of a challenge there. Initially I would enjoy any maybe flowers to start with, just to keep things nice and angular with these domestic objects. I think is a good idea. And you can do this in a comfortable environment. Make sure you're nice and calm and chilled, and make sure you have got a little bit of time to explore your subject. Get the tunes on, get a cup of tea on the go, and just, hopefully spend a bit of time getting lost in what you're doing. So I'm going to look at using the shapes again as we draw out, and using light lines, which I have roughly started here. I've just tried to capture the light lines, but that isn't actually what we're after with this exercise. So I've just put a few very loose lines down, just to kind of give me a rough idea of where I am on the paper. And like I've said in a few other videos, a nice light comfortable pencil hold. You want to be using your pencil so you're not hardly putting any pressure on the paper at all. And however that works for you, however it's comfortable. We call that the drumstick hold, but however it works. Because the problem is, as soon as you start holding the pencil like a pen, you start to get very hard with your lines and quite angular, and you're very tight with your movements. As soon as you've got the pencil like this, you can move your fingers, you can move your wrist, you can move your arm around. If you've got big ellipses, you can move your pencil around on the paper. Always a good way, if you need to do an ellipse the other way, is just turn your book around. You don't have to always keep your book in the same place. So what we're after in this exercise is we're going to be looking for the in-between, the negative space. So sit back, work at arm's length. I'll just make sure you can see the pad properly. Yeah, work at arm's length. So you need to be sat right away from your book, and hopefully if you've got a dinner tray or an old piece of wood or something that you can lean on as well. You don't always have to sit with your journal on your knee. You can sit your journal on a wall, or it doesn't always have to be right next to you. You can be a little bit away from it. The good thing, if your book is further away from you, is you can see the subject and your book at the same time, so you can get an idea. So you can see them both almost in the same glance of the eye, which works really well. And just, I think this exercise, just really enjoy investigating the setup and investigating, finding the shapes that you wouldn't ordinarily see. So what we are looking for with negative space are the spaces in between all of these objects. And this is a really good exercise, because normally what you try and do is you try and draw the outline of everything. That isn't necessarily always the best way to draw something. When you do life studies, and when I've been trained to do life drawing, you'll be trained to look at the gap in somebody's arm if they've got their arm leaning on their side, or the gap between like the arm outspread and the waist or something like that, so you get that nice triangular shape. Excuse me. So instead of drawing the outlines, I'm going to try and find now these shapes that go down the side of the rubber spoon and inside the glass. that's kind of sitting roughly like that, and then the next part of that shape would come down here, and I've got a little bit of a shadow coming off the back of that spoon, so I'm going to put that in. It's sitting about there, and then the top of the spoon, top of the bread bin. I come round to the fork, and I can actually start to. I'm ignoring the outlines now, and I'm actually starting to see these as actual objects that are in between all of the shapes. It's got the edge of the spoon there, the edge of the fork, and the vase comes round at the top. I've got another little shadow coming off the kebab sticks underneath there, down the side of the vase, the top of the bee. So hopefully this is starting to make a little bit of sense. You're not going to end up with an accurate drawing doing this. This is like continuous line. This is strictly just to train your brain to see, and seeing is the key really with, you know, with drawing. So what we've got there is the negative space that I'm shading in, the space in between, and this is the space that we concentrate on the least when we're drawing. You know, if you're drawing a tree, you only concentrate on the branches, you don't concentrate on the shapes in between the branches. But if you can train yourself to do that, you get much better at looking, at seeing what's in front of you. So these are the spaces. So you can have that in mind when you set up your still life. You can set it up so it has got good shapes for the negative space. I've just shaded those in there so you can see them a bit better. A little bit more down here, and a bit like I said in the other still life video, just kind of take your expectations down a little bit about what you are going to see, what you're expecting to end up with at the end, because it's not an easy exercise, still life anyway. And so I've got some of the E sticking out there. Sticks. So don't expect to get it right first time, because you won't get it right first time. It's really difficult. All of this that we're doing with the 2 still life videos is to develop your drawing practice, is to make it better. It's not actually really about having good still life drawings at the end. It's just about how you improve what you do, how you approach your drawing. Edge of the vase, that comes off. So there's another section of negative space. So in doing that negative space, we've ended up with the spoon there anyway. And if you need to shade it in to make it easier to understand what it is that you've done, make lots of mistakes with this and the other still life. Don't be so precious that every single time you put a line down, you're torturing yourself and thinking, I've put the line in the wrong place. Put lots of lines down. Get quite free and easy with the lines that you put on the paper. Nothing bad's going to happen. Just put them down there, see what happens. At the end of the day, you'll have a really, really lovely expressive drawing. And that's, you know, that's better than some really rigid drawing that's been rubbed out a million times and it's got lots of really hard lines on it. So yeah, just be free and easy with your lines. And the aim of this exercise really is purely to develop your observational skills and see what's actually there, what you're actually looking at. And the seeing part of drawing is the thing that has to be learned. It's not It's not something that just comes and then that's it. It's a difficult thing to be able to see and to put that down on paper. So it's a fun exercise, and it's something else that'll fill up your journal and have fun. Thank you very much.